What's going on, everyone? Investor here. It's time for my weekly portfolio update. So if you're new here, please hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and hit that bell icon. I don't want you guys to miss any new videos. So this past week, was able to deposit just another $50. But again, like I've said many times, work with what you have. 50 bucks was what I had to put in. So that's what went in, and that's what I had to work with this past week. So I used that to dollar cost average into several holdings that were kind of currently struggling or currently down. So as you can see here, my account is sitting at just over 18,600 at $18,628.49. And just so you guys are aware, this is my actual account here. This isn't just a screenshot. I'm currently logged into Fidelity right now so that you guys can see. You may have noticed that there's the blurry sections over here. This is just to hide the account numbers, what Fidelity doesn't already black out for you. I could easily just turn them off like this so for you guys, but I want to be able to, to be as transparent as possible. I want you guys to see what is in each account. So you can see the 10.5 sitting in my individual and then the just over 8,000 sitting in my Roth. So that's what makes up the 18. So if there's anything you guys want to see in the account, just let me know. If it's something I can show you that doesn't divulge any, you know, private information kind of thing, I'll be happy to share with you guys. So but you could see 18,628. So I was actually up this last week about 70 bucks over last week. So, with the rough week the market had, I think it was one of its worst weeks in quite a while. Up 70 bucks is fantastic. I'll take 70 bucks. So I did receive one dividend payment this past week. I'll get into that here in a minute when we get into the spreadsheet. But this upcoming week, I am going to dollar cost average again, especially into some of the holdings, things that are down still quite a bit. Try to bring that cost basis down a bit. And I'm scheduled to receive one more dividend payment here this upcoming week, and then one the following week to round off the month. So only two left, I believe. And we'll cover that more in a minute. But the one I'm going to receive is Rhythm Capital, or ticker symbol RITM, if you guys aren't familiar with that one. So, but let's jump over to the spreadsheet, and I'll show you what I've been up to. All right, everyone, taking a look at the spreadsheet. You notice not too many things that I've added this week. And we'll start right here with O Realty, 1.59 shares. Actually, really only added 0.594 with the drip plus a couple dollars I threw in here and there. The additional share, I did an audit between my spreadsheet and my actual Fidelity account, just making sure everything was lined up. And at some point, I missed inputting a share into the spreadsheet. So I went ahead and added that. So now that the two line up, so that's where the additional one share came in. So I am technically now sitting at the 58.453. So kind of nice. No, at least there was an extra share hiding there. So for all you guys that are doing the same, tracking everything on your spreadsheet, just make sure that you do these audits here and there. Just it happens. Sometimes we miss things, but that way at least I'm on par. So scrolling down, about a quarter share of Altria Group. This is just adding for the goal for the year. Try to pick things up. Same thing with Pepsi, about $10-20 here and there. Like I said, I only had $50 last week to really play with, so that's kind of what I was doing, was just like $10-15. I think even at one point it was $20 worth of something that I bought. Colgate Palmolive being just a little bit here. Not only is this for the goal, but also because the ex-dividend date was Friday last week, or this past week, so wanted to get a little bit more in just for the upcoming dividend payout. So VG and Walmart were the only other two things that I put in. This is strictly just trying to bring the cost basis type purposes, just dollar cost averaging into these guys, especially with VG kind of struggling lately a little bit. They've been kind of hit or miss, up and down, but this past week was down a little bit, so I decided to try to get a little bit more in there. I'm hoping, once interest rates, things start to rebound, hopefully later in the year, who knows, both VG and O Realty will begin to work their way up, and things will be sitting pretty. So kind of my idea, kind of my thinking for now. So we'll have to see how the future is going to play out on that. So looking at the numbers, the overall numbers, you see up $420 or 3%. It's been rough the last week or two, especially when I was just over 1,000 and things have come down. You can see Tesla's continuing to be Tesla. So hopefully with Tesla it'll rebound. Things will be a little bit better there. But Tesla, with some of the layoffs and some of the news and things that they've got, we'll have to see what the future brings here with these as well. But not anticipating anything there anytime soon, which is again why I'm not investing anything into it personally. Just kind of letting the drip do its thing for now. Letting that drip also help bring that cost basis down. Oh, rebounded a little bit this past week, so not bad. Especially I've added the dividend in, so all these figures here, if you guys are new to the channel, this is the underlying position in addition to the dividends. This is currently where I'm sitting at, which with each holding. So you can see the dividends there. If it wasn't for the dividends, the account would actually be down a couple $100, basically the equivalent of a Tesla. So gotta love the dividends. Gotta love them coming in, getting that money into the account. So you can see J&J after their earnings report, was it a week or two ago here? They had some rough figures, so they kind of went down a little bit. So still not too bad for me, only $15 down, but I only have 2.5 shares, so got to work on that one. So VG, like I said, is kind of having a rough go, down 16. Starbucks rebounded a little bit this past week, so not looking as bad. And then Walmart only down $1, so that's not doing too bad. So like I said, really just trying to focus there on the ones that are in the red this past week. You can see basically the information above here in the chart. Tesla being that huge spike down. O's coming back to reality a little bit. A couple here that are trying to grow downward. Hopefully that doesn't happen, right? Moving across, calendar. Realty was the only dividend I received last week, $13.58, which was dripped right back in. You can see O has now brought in just over $50 for the year so far. But what I like to see is 1144, 1255, 1322, 1358 each month. It continually goes up, right? That's what we're looking for. That's what we want. You look at something like a JEPI where it's good to see, the money here and there, 19.6, but then down to 15, then up a little bit where that kind of has a variable amount that they pay out each month. It's kind of that set standard. It's just here's their figure, what they release, and based on the shares you have. So it's not as up and down as a JEPI or some of these other ones. So even though JEPI's still bringing in some decent money. But only thing so far last week. So it brought the grand total up to $103.02 for the year, or for the month, excuse me. So 103 for the month with 2 dividend payments left. Rhythm Capital, I believe, is this following Friday coming up, and then Altria Group, I believe, was the last day of the month, which is the following Monday. Have to double check that, but should bring me up to $126 for the month. So at least for now, it's into the hundreds. It's another triple digit month, which is good to see. Love it. So average for the month, $107.41. And if you're new to the channel, again, this figures here is just strictly on this screen that you're looking at. This doesn't average in any of the other months, anything from last year. This is strictly just off this spreadsheet for this current year. So $3.58 a day or 2 cents an hour. So we'll get those figures up. That don't seem like much, but again, it's a smaller account. Start somewhere. It'll eventually grow. Looking at the chart and the goals here. So $429 for the year, doing relatively well. So if you look at the dividends received by month, what I like to see is just each little staircase up. So things are starting to grow. April's probably going to be just shy of March, but March being one of the quarterly payers, so it's a little every 3 months there should be a decent spike, and then it'll come back down into the valleys. But the valleys, I also want to see those growing a little bit, so that way that quarterly spike is even higher, right? And the pie charts are all up to date. See, the Roth is pretty much where I'm doing most of my trading lately. Trying to max that Roth out every year, just help out with taxes and whatnot. You see, it looks a little bit more evened out. Trying to keep things pretty even and mellow across the board. Tesla, QQQY, JEPY. You see those positions continually getting reduced down, especially I'm not adding anything in. It's just money from the drip. But that way the account, the Roth in itself, just has a little more even. Industry sector breakdown hasn't changed. I haven't added anything new, taken anything away. So the goals, so just over halfway to go for Altria Group. Still got a little bit of work to do with Colgate-Palmolive, and then Pepsi 13.5 shares is looking pretty good, being that it's only April. Still got quite a few months to go before I start worrying whether I'm going to hit those or not, but I think I'm on track to do pretty well at this point. The goal, this will get updated probably the end of next week as we round out the month. So you can see I'm about 18.6, so that'll come up a little bit more. So $103.02 so far for the quarter. But you can see where I was for Q2 last year, being my first year. I only made $44. So pretty drastic increase, right? So makes you think what quarter number 2 in 2025 will be, and so on and so on. But right now, looking pretty good. See the blue lines, each quarter should hopefully outshadow the orange lines. So 429 for this year, 355 all of last year. Obviously, already beat that. I beat that in the first quarter. So kind of excited to see what the end of the year is going to bring. Hopefully I can get that up to $1,000 for the year. That would be great, especially since this is now year number 2. So projected income for the year and see where everything's sitting. Kind of got to take Tesla out, for now, just and kind of focus on where I'm focusing. I want to see most of these other orange bars at least get to that $100 line, which would be unbelievable for what I'm working on. And then you got the trend line, a little bit of a valley in this month, but as long as that next valley is a little higher and then bringing us into the quarterly pair, like I was saying, that next peak should be higher than this peak, and that's ultimately the goal. It's like you want higher lows, but then you also want higher highs. So as long as those peaks and valleys just continue to grow. So then once the account here gets updated here at the end of next week with the value wise, you'll see another addition to the staircase up, being that the account is obviously more than it was here in this month. So you can see the 16.8 there. We'll be up into the 18.6 range, at least where I'm sitting now. But like I said, I got some decent money coming in, hopefully, in this next week or two. So, but that's what I've got for this week, guys. Like I said, not a whole lot, kind of a smaller week. Only playing with the $50 to try to figure out how to be the most effective I could with it. But again, if all you have is $50, work with what you got. Put the 50 in. I bet you that 50 will grow, but you got to start somewhere. Take what you have, work with what you have. So that's all I've got for this week, guys. If you haven't subscribed, please hit that button. Give this video a thumbs up. Let me know how I'm doing. I will catch you guys next week. Happy investing.